Whether we like it or not, we need to understand how we got where we did. There is a big difference between referring to something as racially tinged and as racist. Underneath that subtle transformation is a really important history of how power has been obfuscated in language. So on July 14th, Donald Trump tweeted a set of comments about 4 women of color who were in Congress, telling them they should go back where they came from. Journalists characterized it as racist, but others used euphemisms. Before the Civil Rights Movement and at the dawn of the Civil Rights Movement, it was common to read in newspapers that politicians would be described as white supremacists. You would often find descriptions of that sort, as well as descriptions of acts or people as racist. And then, as the Civil Rights Movement progressed, a new way of talking about race emerged among opponents of it, which was a new colorblind way of speaking about opposition to civil rights. In 1965, for example, the Boston Globe said, "There is the voice of the segregationist politician who cries for states' rights, but means white rights, and decries federal intervention when it means integrating the schools." So politicians began to stop using explicit white supremacist language, but to continue to promote racist beliefs through colorblind language. And the media began to replicate that colorblind language. So after the Civil Rights Movement began, is when you begin to see the spike in terms like racially tinged and racially charged. I think it's important to look at the origins of language that we take for granted, because it helps us place it historically and understand the role of power in history. Why did we start using them? I think we started using them because the Civil Rights Movement provoked a backlash, and part of that backlash was to speak about race in colorblind terms while still trying to maintain power and privilege for white people. When reporters use terms like racially charged or racially tinged, they essentially are assuming that race is something that can be used in a variety of ways, that it's a neutral term that can be used in a variety of ways. But race, especially as a biological concept, is essentially a fiction that empowers whites, often at the expense of people of color.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.